Van Zeke's time very soon. Hello, my friends. Welcome on in. We're back with the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Hope everyone's doing good. It says episode 3 because I went back to episode 3 to check something, but we're not on episode 3. No, we are on episode 3. What am I saying? I went back to episode 2 to check something. Yes, we're right. I thought it was... I'm all out of whack. We are in episode 3. We're good. We're good. Ignore me. I'm crazy. I did go back to episode 2 because I was replaying a certain scene for funsies. But we're back. Episode 3. We're in trial now. Yeah, I was like, wait, isn't Hairbrain episode 3? My brain, wow, it's gone. I'm a little out of it. 23rd October, 8:52 a.m., the Old Bailey, defendant's antechamber. I can't believe it's been 6 months since I was last allowed to work in court. And now here I am, back at the Old Bailey. Oh, Mr. Naruhodo. Good morning, Professor Hairbrain. I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense. The atmospheric pressure in here is off the charts. I've never felt anything like it. It's crushing me. I feel it every time I'm here. That gravity. Ooh. Not gravity. Well, this is Britain's highest court. But are you telling me it's fitted with some kind of device that can actually control air pressure? Crazy. I think it's probably all in the mind. Everything's in the mind today. My brain is mush. I got no sleep last night. Ah, yes, well, you won't let me down, will you, Mr. Naruhodo? I'm counting on you in today's trial. To save my life. I can't believe that Britain's highest court has a device that can control air pressure. Whoa! To save the secret of my super high voltage instantaneous kinesis machine from being made public. Yes, I understand. I know what I have to do. I have to establish that the explosion 2 days ago was nothing more than an unfortunate accident. Well, I'm sure there's nothing to worry about, really. Justice will prevail. Justice? Apollo? Who? Shoals? No, Justice is the other game. My commiserations, Mr. Naruhodo. You appear to have been lumbered with a most tiresome case here. Okay. I was like, he's talking like Shoals, so I'm gonna assume it's him. Mr. Sholmes! I didn't expect to see you here. That was very mean, Bruno. Leaving me alone at home with Hurley. Yeah, why didn't you bring her? It took me at least an hour to wake him. Is it? Are you Sherlock Sholmes? Indeed, sir. I am a he. Sherlock Sholmes. Oh, I've heard all about your exploits, even whilst living in Germany.
Oh yes, Rand's magazine is on sale in Germany too.
This month's installment was sublime. Your deduction in the Adventure of Silver Blaze was wonderful. He's the second best. Oh yes, a memorable case indeed. It concerned a snake, I seem to recall.
No, that was the speckled
Bad, I was gonna say. Well, thank you for coming. I do appreciate your support. I'm sorry to disappoint you, my dear fellow, but I'm afraid I can't stay. You can you can never stay. Oh. I have urgent business at Madame Tuspel's. You mean your waxwork job? No, the waxwork abduction, of course. Of course. Madame has engaged my services. Oh, so you're trying to get to the bottom of that ransom note, are you? The week's wages depend on it. as does the safe return of the waxwork, naturally. As such, I intend to give it my undivided attention. Oh, well, never mind then. I understand. Of course, with my skills of observation and reasoning, resolving the matter will be as easy as proverbial pie. I shall return forthwith. For until I solve the case, I shall have no money to afford a pie of any description.
Oh, then you must absolutely give it your full attention, Hurley.
Quite, Iris, quite. But life is riddled with irony, you know. Whenever I give something my full attention, I have a quite insatiable desire for pie. One of the universe's intractable mysteries, you might say. Oh yes, quite. Definitely, absolutely. I totally understand. Is someone a little starstruck? Who wouldn't be? It's Hairlock Shows. I wish you the very best of luck, Professor Hairbrain. Why, thank you. Before I depart, Mr. Naruhodo, a word in your ear, if you please. What's this about? I'm very serious now. This is my serious stance with no music. As you have remarkably little grounding in science, I feel I ought to inform you. As compelling as this super high voltage instantaneous kinesis hypothesis may be, practical implantation, such as was attempted by the professor at the Great Exhibition, is quite impossible. But the professor said the demonstration was a success. Yes, it would appear that he fervently believes it was.
I've read Professor Bunnybrain's paper about it too, Bruno, and I have to say, I'm sure it can't be done. It can barely be done theoretically, let alone practically.
Yeah. You joke, but I do like the show 'em straight on serious. No, I'm not joke. That wasn't a joke. I really enjoy it. I just like when it's like all the music cuts out and then he gets super serious. I'm like, oh, there, he's about to tell us something very deep. So he's completely barking up the wrong tree. But how could an experiment that had no possibility of succeeding in fact succeed? That's contradictory. Contradictions, my dear fellow. And it's that contradiction that'll be at the heart of the trial, I've no doubt. What's that supposed to mean? Now, I must hurry along. I wish you the best of luck, my dear fellow.
See you later, Hurley.
Ta-ta! There he goes. He fades away.
Well, it looks like you're on your own today, Bruno. But chin up. You can do it.
Oh, what about you, Iris?
No, I'm afraid I can't help.
What? I have something I need to do. What? Where's my assistant? How am I supposed to do this without a co-counsel? I see.
It's going to be a big surprise for you when you find out what it is.
I'm scared. That sounds ominous. Counsel for the defense and the defendant. Court is about to be in session. Make your way into the courtroom at once. One co-counsel per courtroom, sadly. And Zeeks is still in the slot. Damn it! We're on our way. An experiment that the laws of science say can't possibly succeed. And a scientist who's convinced that it did. That's the riddle you have to unlock here, Ranosuke. It's the key to this case. Using Van Seeks because we don't know question mark's name yet. 23rd October, 9:10 a.m., the Old Bailey courtroom. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. We are sitting today for the public trial of Professor Albert Hairbrain. I now call upon the counsels for the prosecution and the defense to declare their willingness to proceed. Actually, I don't want to proceed today. Actually, I want to go home. The prosecution is ready. The defense is ready, my lord. Oh, I'm 6 months out of practice, and what's more, Oh, they teased me for a second. I was like, Susanna, what are you doing here? I'm without Susanna-san today. Oh. No Susanna, no Iris. What's the point? Ugh. Is it just my imagination, or does the air in here feel even more oppressive than usual? So, I must say I recollect the victim of this case all too well. Mr. Odie Osmond. Mr. Osmond is a well-known financer, though that was merely a front for his diverse criminal activities. It was only a month ago that the man appeared in court prosecuted by you, Lord Van Zieks. But the jury unanimously found him not guilty. Not guilty? Because every member of the jury had been bribed by the sound of it. These powerful London criminals are prepared to go to extreme lengths to keep their freedom. But 2 days ago, on 21st October, Mr. Osmond meant his end. The work of the Reaper, was it? Did you do it, Lord Van Zieks? If that is how your lordship would describe divine retribution. But the fact remains that Mr. Osmond's death was a direct result of the actions of the accused, Professor Harebrain. Very well then. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you have been selected at random to represent the will of the people. Are the 6 of you ready to fulfill your societal duty? Oh, new people! New jurors! I'm the most gratified to have been selected to carry out this important civic duty, my lord. You're new too?
To a man's fate in the palm of one's hand. Oh gosh, oh golly, it sends shivers down my spine.
They're all new. Science experiments, magic conjuring tricks, courtroom trials all are nothing more than performances. Any spurious scholar that defiles the reputation of science deserves to hang.
I haven't listened to what's said in both sides of the fence. You know, then settle on one. That's it, isn't it?
Oh, it's the... Okay. Wow. Was it like this in my day? Wasn't like this at all. That's the police killer Automol lookalike. Again. And he's exhausted as ever, it seems. All new jury members. That's fun. Now, as I'm sure you're all aware, the incident we are here to judge today tragically took place at the Great Exhibition shortly after its opening. Though the death toll could have been far worse, with the exception of the victim, no one was killed. Nevertheless, the dream of the science being exhibited rapidly turned into a nightmare for the spectators. A tragic turn of events, and as such, the eyes of all of London, no, of the whole world will be on this trial. The stakes are as high as ever. It is our duty to reach a swift and just conclusion, I feel. So, your opening statement, please, Lord Van Zieks. At the heart of this incident is technology never before demonstrated anywhere in the world. One of science's latest developments, I take it? The government is keen to capitalize on the Great Exhibition to improve Britain's technological advantage. The technology being demonstrated by the accused was described as super high voltage instantaneous kinesis. Van Zieks in this case reminds me of Riker in the one TNG courtroom episode where he was assigned as the prosecutor to prove that Data wasn't human. The technology being demonstrated by the accused was described as super high voltage instantaneous kinesis. Good lord. It's designed to disassemble human subjects using extremely high voltage electricity and beam them instantly to another location where they are subsequently reassembled. Is such a thing even within the realms of possibility? Well, I don't believe it, that's for sure.
Disassembling people with electricity. My goodness, how shocking.
The whole point is absurd. The whole idea is absurd. The hypothesis would never stand up to scrutiny. So, I believe you are a fellow of the Royal Society, are you not? An expert in your field? Oh, I am. And my word on the matter can be considered final. Instantaneous kinesis is poppycock. So, this expert and Mr. Sholmes are in agreement. It's impossible. Yeah. What is the prosecution's view on the matter? I don't know. The prosecution would assert that the accused's instantaneous kinesis demonstration was a success. Alright, Van Zeeks, okay. What? What rot? And don't you ever talk bad about him again. Order, order. The professor's hypothesis is currently under investigation by the British government. If it is deemed to have merit, a substantial research grant would be made available. The accused made use of the invention built on his new hypothesis to take Mr. Osmond's life in order to be the sole benefactor of the grant. But... This disastrous demonstration was no accident. It was carefully designed from the outset to end the life of the victim. Gasp! Thank you, Lord Van Zeeks. The prosecution's stance is clear. But you will now bring forth witnesses to substantiate your claims. Gladly, my lord. There it goes. Bailiff, show the first witness to the stand. Witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court. Yes, sir. Boyce Gregson, Detective Inspector at Scotland Yard's Homicide Division. I was on duty at the demonstration on the day in question, in charge of the following investigation. Albert Harebrain, a scientist. You were born in England, but have been carrying out research in Germany in recent years, correct? Yes, that's right. After graduating from university here in Britain, I went to work in Germany and made an amazing discovery. Which is what brought me back. I had to demonstrate my incredible hypothesis at the Great Exhibition. What you demonstrate was incredible, right? An incredible explosion. But the science was a success. The instantaneous kinesis worked. Everyone saw it. They must have done. Yes, there was the terrible accident, but the demonstration of my hypothesis was a success. Who cares if that guy died? Well, that much is undeniable, as shown in this photograph taken by a forensic investigation team. This was taken inside the Crystal Tower, I take it? The centerpiece of the exhibition, no less. It's alright, my lord. Seems the victim rammed straight into it. Okay. I see. Very well. Submit the photograph as evidence. The photographic print of the victim taken after he had ostensibly been beamed to the Crystal Tower. It shows an apparent stab wound to the chest. All the courts heard, the victim of the incident was Mr. Odie Osmond. There have been a number of allegations made against the man, but putting them aside for the time being, he was the man who financed the research for the experiment and the demonstration itself. I see. So to summarize the situation, the defendant is accused of taking the life of a man who funded his work. Would that be correct? Exactly. But couldn't it be that the explosion was caused by some malfunction in the apparatus used for the demonstration? That's right, that must be it. My splendid machine. My poor splendid machine. Saw it yesterday, didn't you? We can't even examine the wreckage thanks to the Special Dispensable Scientific Equipment Act. What? The wreckage? The wreckage? But that being the case, how can the facts be established? How can it possibly be determined whether this was an accident or a deliberate and malicious act? Extremely simply, my lord. I beg your pardon? Isn't that right, witness? What? Sorry? Me? How dare Gregson call Hairbrain's life work wreckage? No, your neighbor. Yes, sir. It was murder, plain and simple. Anyone could state that with complete certainty. What? How could he possibly think that? Because I said so, that's why, sunshine. Thank you, Inspector. I think we had better proceed to formal testimony. You will explain to the court on what grounds you claim this experiment to have been a front for murder. Because I said so. I don't need proof. I'm just the witness. A front for murder. Corpse that went crashing through the crystal tower had a broken neck. I made a minor miscalculation in the angle of the beam projection, that's all. That was my mistake. Well, post-mortem examination revealed another injury. Fatal wound. There was a lesion in his chest where he clearly been stabbed by something sharp right in the heart. So the victim was killed before he went anywhere. This fella's the only one who could have done it. So, the theory is he was stabbed before the body was quote-unquote transported? Okay. An extraordinary business. In addition to suffering a broken neck, the victim was stabbed in the heart? Not in the heart. Information I would really like to have heard from someone other than the judge. The coroner says the death would have been all but instant from a wound like that. You could say, in fact, that the victim was killed twice by the accused. No, no, no! That couldn't be further from the truth. I have here the experiment plan document that was submitted to the security team. Victim threw himself inside something called the birdcage, ready to be beamed instantly. Probably gonna vanish around the end of the hour. There's a tiny crossover between theater nerds and wrestling fans. But I'll be here until then because I'm having fun. Yay! I'm glad to have you. I'm glad to have you while I have you. What's the crossover? To the second level of the crystal tower and about 25 yards away. The experiment did not go according to plan, however. As the machine was... As in, I'm both a theater nerd and a fan of wrestling. Alternatively, Rocky the Musical. Nice! Nice! Very cool. As the machine was put into operation, there was a large explosion. The blast caused the beam transmitter to point higher than intended. Accordingly, the kinesis resulted in the birdcage materializing in midair, from where it subsequently fell, crashing through the glass of the crystal tower's large round window. My word! One assumes the victim's neck was broken upon impact with the tower, then. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean for this to happen. The machine was just too powerful. But honestly, really, I swear it was just an accident. A terrible accident. I'm so curious to find out how the whole transportation thing gets explained. I have a feeling that the wax thing being a part of this case is going to be relevant, but I'm curious how. Unfortunately, that excuse can't save you. No. Well, considering the shot murder weapon that pierced the victim's heart. Murder weapon? What are you saying? This is the autopsy report submitted by the coroner. The prosecution would like it entered into the court record. Your request is granted, counsel. The autopsy report of the victim, Mr. Osmond. His neck was broken from the impact of a violent fall, and he was stabbed in the chest with a sharp object. I was there in person, you know. Saw the whole ludicrous performance. And the only other person on the stage was Mr. Osmond with that disgraceful excuse for a scientist.
Then really, by all accounts, it must have been him.
Ought to think otherwise, really. Very well. Counsel for the defense. Proceed with the cross-examination, please. Oh, yes, my lord. Need to focus here. It's been a while. Aw, and we're really doing it all alone. It's so sad. Corpse went crashing through the crystal tower, had a broken neck. Sure. I made a minor miscalculation in the angle of the beam, that's all. That was my mistake. Let's talk about this. Hold it! So the angle of projection is critical, is it? And you calculated it yourself? Personally? Absolutely. The calculation is far too complicated for anyone but me to carry out. Only, you got it wrong, didn't you? Yes, that's right. That's the point. The calculation is so complicated even I can make a mistake. Do people fall for that brazen confidence? I should try it. I took into account the subject's height and weight, the wind direction, the ambient temperature. I considered every possible variable, so I don't understand how this could have happened. Obviously then you had to include the weight of the clothes Mr. Osmond was wearing at the time, I suppose. Crackling comments! The answer should have been 3! So much for safety first. The 3 must be for safety third. Okay, that didn't help. But the post-mortem examination revealed another injury, a fatal wound. There was a lesion in his chest where he'd clearly been stabbed by something sharp. Okay, do we know what that is? The defense knew nothing of this crucial information. The prosecution received this report from the forensic investigation team only this morning. That was the first we knew of it as well. I can only apologize for the impossibility of informing the defense. Oh, I appreciate the apology. I don't care if it's sarcastic and insincere. He at least said it. Sarcastic and insincere? Thanks. So what was the nature of this sharp object? Pray forgive the discourtesy of not informing the defense. Among the accused tools that were in use at the demonstration, one is of particular interest. This. Oh, okay, the screwdriver. Yes, that would appear to be some kind of screwdriver, wouldn't it, Count? There he is! My trusty little companion, Andrew! Andrew, of course! Oh, do you know each other already? He's one of my dear friends, like all my tools. I've named them all, you know. We're one big happy family. Andrew is my flathead screwdriver, of course. His brother Michael is a crosshead. Well, it would appear that your beloved Andrew has a red stain on his shank. That isn't... It's blood. It's blood. Beyond all reasonable doubt. No. Well, that's not all. Long, sharp shape of this Andrew fella is completely consistent with the victim's wound. Okay. Sure. What? Order, order! The court will enter this friend of the defendant as evidence. Professor Harebrain's trusty screwdriver that he's named Andrew. There are traces of blood at the tip and it matches the shape of the victim's wound. So one of Professor Harebrain's tools is the murder weapon. Okay. Oh, we have a lot more evidence than I thought we did. Yeah. We got the photograph. And then the autopsy report I wanted to read. Coroner Courtney Scythe. Why is the coroner listed? They never list the coroner. That's gonna be important. Courtney's gonna be important. Name Odie Asman, male, age 47, nationality British. Time of death 21st October around 2:20 p.m. Cause of death, hemorrhage of a wound to the chest that pierced the heart, inflicted by a sharp implement. Additional observations, a broken vertebrae, most likely resulting from impact after a sudden fall from considerable height. Interesting. And then we don't have anyone to talk about it with. This is blood. Mr. Asman's no doubt. This is the problem with looking at murder weapons. Okay, he's got nothing else to say. It looks like layers of thick canvas with a thick rubber lining of sorts. I've never seen anything like it before. But applying Mr. Sholmes' methods, you might deduce it was part of a raincoat worn by someone who really didn't want to get wet. And the charring must have occurred when the person was struck by lightning. Randowska, you really need a co-counsel. Or maybe not. Really nothing on this. Okay. Great. Okay. So the victim was killed before we went anywhere, and this fella's the only one who could have done it.
Hold it!
What grounds do you have for saying that? Do you really need to ask? There were only two people on that public experimentation stage in front of the whole crowd. The victim, Mr. Odie Asman, and the accused, Professor Harebrain. And we know for certain that before the experiment, the victim was alive. That's right. I saw him with my own eyes. Furthermore, following the explosion and kinesis, nobody went anywhere near the body. In other words, only someone else on stage with the victim could possibly have done it. Oh. Was there someone else on the stage?
Excuse me.
Nice. I love how polite it is. Excuse me. Professor Harebrain, do you have some information that may be relevant here? Professor. Ah, sorry. I was just calculating the optimum coefficient electrolysis to separate molecules in the whole human body. And the witness stand is the best place for that. It seems as though you might have something to say about Inspector Gregson's last remark. Yes, that's right, of course. He just said that nobody else could have done it, didn't he? Yeah, that's right. Who else could have stabbed the victim, eh? I don't know. But there's no way that I could possibly have stabbed Mr. Asman, as you say. Oh. Explain, please, Professor. Of course, this cold-hearted policeman may not be aware, I suppose. But humans are warm-blooded mammals with blood running continuously through their veins. Why, you'd heard? News to me. Then surely, you see, if I plunged something the size of Andrew into the man's chest, the whole stage would have been a bloodbath. No, a blood swimming pool. That's fair. That's fair because he would have had to leave the screwdriver in to stop the blood flow. And they found it on scene. But thousands of Londoners were watching me at the time. And yet not one of them claims to have seen a swimming pool of blood. Yeah, that's a Good point. Well, no, I suppose not. You see, not one. True. Oh, I didn't see anything like that. Well done, Professor. That was a great counter-argument. You're doing my job for me. Order, order. Now, pray forgive the discourtesy if I sever a drop from my hallowed chalice to accompany my old friend's adducing. Here's to you, Albert. Oh, you're too kind, Barrack, but I'm really not a patch on you. Oh! That was mean. That was mean. No, you're not. No? You've neglected to mention one crucial possibility. I have? A particular situation in which very little bleeding would result from a stab wound. Oh, of course. Inspector, enlighten the court, please. Yes, sir. Where are they going with this? Very well. You will amend your formal testimony now, Inspector Gregson. The weapon the victim was stabbed with must have been left in his body whilst he was beamed through the air. No! It wasn't! No! No, it was not. Because we found this on the stage, didn't we? I've seen this unusually shaped handle before. It's the same screwdriver that was lodged in the grill on the floor of the kinesis machine. Which could be important information, so I should definitely make a note of it. Oh, I'm so glad I re-examined it. Oh my god, I was just about to present it by itself. Okay, yeah, there's the information. It wasn't in the body, it was...
Objection!
You say that while the weapon remains in the body, there's very little bleeding. Is that unequivocal? No. There was no blood on the experimentation stage, even though that's where the fellow was stabbed. Oh, also... Yeah, it's not even in his body in the photo. The only explanation for that is if the screwdriver was still in his body, stopping any heavy bleeding. It's common medical knowledge, my learned friend, even on your side of the world. Yes, but what about the screwdriver? The thing is, we actually saw it at the scene ourselves, on the experimentation stage. What? It was on the floor by the wreckage of the machine, poking through a metal grill. I went to pick it up, but the detective here stopped me. Isn't that right, Inspector Gregson? Well, now you come to mention it, yes. Inspector, are we to understand that you permitted the defense counsel to investigate? That you contravened the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act? No, not at all. I wouldn't do that. I just let him look, nothing more. I was very clear he wasn't to touch a thing. Yes, that's true. The screwdriver was in plain sight on the stage. But it shouldn't have been, should it? What are you getting at? If this tool had still been in the victim's body when the victim was beamed away by the machine, then it shouldn't have still been on the stage. Ooh. That's right. It should have been beamed across to the Crystal Tower along with Mr. Asman. And been found still lodged in the victim's chest. Order, order. How do you explain this, Inspector? Oh no. It looks as though everything that the victim had on his person moved with him when he was beamed. If the screwdriver was still in his chest when the instantaneous kinesis occurred. Obviously, that should have been beamed to the destination as well. This is a strange situation. Even though people are saying that this instantaneous kinesis is a scientific impossibility, we're still basing arguments on the assumption that it did actually take place. Alright, time to tighten the screws here. My lord, if the prosecution is unable to explain this inconsistency in its argument, we can only conclude that the testimony given in support cannot be relied on. Lord Van Zieks is stumped. What? 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 What was that? No. No, he shouldn't have anything to say. He should be quiet. Why is he holding me? Do you have something to say, witness? Yes, I knew it. It bears out. The equations hold. Mr. Naruhodo, don't worry. About what? Without delving into the details, there is no inconsistency. What? Even if Andrew had been lodged in Mr. Asmund's chest, my trusty tool wouldn't have moved. Oh my god. Andrew remaining on the stage is consistent with my calculations. No. No. What are you doing? We were winning. You're the defendant. What are you doing? What? What? Look what you made Van Zieks do. It would seem your illusions have been shattered. Clearly we should hear the accused's explanation. No! No, we should not. Or should I say, this brilliant scientist's explanation? Okay. Okay, buddy. Just when I'd found an inconsistency in the prosecution's argument. Scientists. Very well. The defendant will testify again. Why? Provide us with the scientific explanation as to why the inconsistency asserted by the defense fails to hold. Oh, please, I'm so excited to hear it. Oh! This sentence genuinely got me for a second. I was like, what? I was so confused. Man, we had both Justice mention and Apollo mention? Crazy. In the name of Apollo, I will, my lord. He's not even born yet. We're like 100 years off. The inconsistency explained. To be clear, I'm still at the stage of gathering data in my research. Hairbrain can see the future. No, that's crazy. The hypothesis states the kinesis cannot transport metal, though, hence the metal weapon should have stayed put. In other words, the point just raised by Mr. Naruhodo isn't an inconsistency at all. Mr. Asmund was the patron of my research. Without him, my work wouldn't have been possible. Now I have a duty to protect the incredible machine that we built together. So, the thrust of your testimony, Professor, is you're guilty? That based upon his hypothesis, metal objects cannot be moved by this method of an instantaneous kinesis. In other words, he's guilty. In other words, since the screwdriver is made of metal, even if it remained lodged in the victim's chest, its subsequent discovery on the stage, despite the victim being found elsewhere, is not an inconsistency. Is there metal in the photograph? Glasses, potentially? buttons? Potentially? Glasses and button. I think there's metal on him. My lord, I think there's metal. I think that's a lie. And therefore, he's guilty. Guilty. And therefore, Professor Albert Harebrained could still have been the killer. My great hypothesis holds, you see. Why? What is... we had to make the cage used to contain the subject from wood for that very reason. I was not addressing you, witness. Professor Harebrained. Yes? Whose side are you on here? I don't take sides, Mr. Naruhodo. No. My only interest lies in upholding my hypothesis. I'm a scientist after all. Is he working for us or against us? It's very hard to tell. I think he's working with the prosecution. Let's see how you cross-examine this testimony, my Nipponese friend. Yes! Fire away, Mr. Naruhodo. Okay. This is very odd. To be clear, I'm still at the stage of gathering data in my research. My hypothesis states that kinesis cannot transport metal, hence the metal weapon was safe, but let's press on it first before we present anything. Your hypothesis states it, so this isn't proven then? No, of course not. It's merely a hypothesis, but a good one based upon thousands of calculations. But it is widely known that metals can't be decomposed by electrolysis. Yes, of course, so I am right. My hypothesis is clearly correct. What is it about incriminating himself that makes this man so happy? It's the whole reason that the birdcage is made of wood, you see. Sorry? The birdcage? Yes, that's why I called the Sia Obtusa cage in which Mr. Asmund was placed for the kinesis. Oh, the jail cell in which the victim was detained. It does indeed seem to be made of a timber of some sort. Well, thank you not to refer to as an instrument of incarceration, your lordship. In short, any weapon lodged in the victim when he was beamed away by instantaneous kinesis would have been left behind on the stage if it was made of metal, correct? Yes, that's it! Yes! It all fits perfectly with the mathematical model. But the ultimate conclusion, then, is that the defendant alone had the opportunity to inflict this fatal injury on the victim, is it not? Indeed, sir. Someone beam me out of this nightmare. In other words, the point just raised by Mr. Naruhodo isn't an inconsistency at all. I think he has metal on him. Oh, if this doesn't work, then we just keep pressing.
Objection!
Music stopped. Good sign. Professor Harebrained, you say that according to your hypothesis, yes, nothing made of metal can be beamed by instantaneous kinesis using the machine you made. Is that right? Yes, that's right. Spot on. Exactly correct. In that case, I'd ask you to have a look at this photograph that was taken at the scene. In particular, I'd like you to pay attention to the victim's face. You can clearly see that Mr. Asmund is wearing a pair of spectacles with a metal rim. Okay, it was the glasses. What? Metal? No. Metal? Can't. That's not... Metal? No! We've already established that the proposed murder weapon, the screwdriver, was found on the stage. However, if your hypothesis correctly predicted that outcome, it should also have predicted that the metal-rimmed spectacles will be found in the same place. My hypothesis! Professor Harebrained, this isn't easy for me to say, but your hypothesis is clearly flawed. Order, order, order! Counsel, what's the implication of this? If, on the day in question, the alleged instantaneous kinesis never actually took place, then it's entirely possible that the victim was killed somewhere other than the stage. And in that case, someone other than the defendant could have been the culprit. But my hypothesis is sound. I proved it that day. The experiment was a success. The experiment was proof of all my work. You do not have a right to object. If I could say something here in my capacity as a fellow of the Royal Society. Yes, juror number 4. Go ahead. As a man of science, there is one thing I simply cannot abide. And that's a fraud who pretends to be a fellow man of science. What? Wait, Great Scott, are you suggesting my science is suspect? It's just been disproved, hasn't it? In front of all of us. In other words, the whole demonstration was a complete nonsense from start to finish. Believe me, my fellow jurors, when I tell you that this man is a heel, a bounder, and a fraud. I say the wreckage of that machine should be stripped down and thoroughly examined. No, never. That machine is my essence of my entire hypothesis. It's protected by the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act. What the devil is that blasted act all about, eh? Who made up such a daft rule? I don't like the way this seems to be going. What's the best way for me to help the professor? Yeah, of course.
Objection!
Professor Harebrain has yet to perfect his invention. That would seem to be the case, yes. But even so what? Going to such trouble to an expense to create a fake machine to display in public. He would have absolutely no reason to do such a thing.
Objection!
He had an obvious reason to do exactly that. For the research grant money. Yeah, I can see that coming. If the government was foolish enough to have deemed this man's ridiculous notion plausible, he and his conspirators would have received a handsome sum indeed. I wonder if the machine being like a success and stuff wasn't because of Harebrain, it was because of the victim. And the victim like set up like a whole like little like magic trick thing is what I'm guessing is gonna be that plot there. Conspirators!
What would be the value of such a grant? £10?
You're an order of magnitude out, madam. £500 a year.
Oh, well, you can leave that handsome on that much for years.
The Society's noticed an increase in bogus public demonstrations in the field of science recently. And plenty of scientists arguing with each other to get the largest slice of the funding cake. People's greed is plenty motive enough for murder, I assure you. No, I haven't deceived anyone. Least of all the government. My hypothesis is sound, the science is sound. Please, you must believe me.
Objection!
No matter how unbelievable this hypothesis may seem to you, ladies and gentlemen, the fact remains that the victim was transported instantly to the Crystal Tower. Which means that the experiment was a success. Barack! And therefore, the only person who could possibly have committed this murder is the accused. The real bait and switch. Oh, Barack. That was good. Where is this heading? I have no idea. My lord, if I may. Yes, Lord Van Zeeks. The prosecution would like to summon new witnesses to the stand. Sure thing. New witnesses. What would be the nature of their involvement? They were spectators of the demonstration at the exhibition, who were occupying special seats. Eyewitnesses? Very well. The court grants the prosecution's request. I should very much like to hear from eyewitnesses to the incident. The prosecution's stance is clear. This experiment was no postage. The accused killed the financer victim there on the public stage before the very eyes of the spectators. Now, my learned friend. Oh, yes? It's time for you to make your own stance clear. There's clearly a flaw in the professor's hypothesis. I can definitely see that. But where does that leave me? We shall take a short recess now. Already? During which time the prosecution will prepare its new witnesses to take the stand. As you wish, my lord. Good. In that case, court is adjourned for 20 minutes. Okay. To be continued already? The investigation portion of this chapter was like 3 hours long. This one was barely an hour. I don't think it even was an hour. Yeah, no. It was less than an hour. Normally I would just end there, but I'll keep going for a little bit longer. Probably up until the first cross-examination starts. Just because it's only been an hour. 23rd October, 10:44 a.m. The Old Bailey Defendant's Antechamber. Mr. Naruhodo. What on earth were you playing at just now? Or rather, what on earth were you playing at all along? My hypothesis, my amazing hypothesis, you've been poking holes in it from the start. Trying to prove you... Do you want to go to jail? Sorry about that. But you promised me. You said you'd prove that tragic explosion was an accident, not a murder. You said you'd keep my precious invention from falling into anyone else's hands. But all you've done so far is try to undermine me. Yes, I did make you a promise, you're right. I said that I'd believe in you and fight for your freedom to the very end. But I also told you I was no scientist. I don't understand your hypothesis. The fact is, there's an undeniable flaw in your logic, isn't there? But if I run through some equations... Yes, you see, it's because my work is incomplete. Perhaps it is. Nevertheless, a man died as a consequence, didn't he? Oh. Oh. Oh, no! You're right. You're so right. It's all my fault. I have no right to blame you for my failures. I'm a disaster. Not just as a scientist, but as a human being. Well, that might be a little over the top. And while we're on the subject... What about Barak? He's being awful. Claiming his old university friend to be a murderer, you mean? He's a disaster, not just as a prosecutor, but as a human being. Oh, but no, wait. He's the Reaper, isn't he? Perhaps he's not classified as Homo sapiens anymore. Glad that's cleared up. Alright, cool. Can I double check something with you? You didn't kill this guy, right? Yes? What? The machine and demonstration you prepared, they were based entirely on your hypothesis, I presume? There was no trickery involved? You know, little magician's trick? Little grammary special? I drew the plans for the machine with my very own hands. Every line was painstakingly drawn with the firm belief that science is the only future. So yes, it's true that my hypothesis hasn't reached maturity yet. But please, Mr. Naruhodo, you must believe in it. No. Alright, Professor. I understand. Counsel, defend it. Prosecution. No, he didn't do his like a brr thing. Prosecution's witnesses are ready to take the stand. Court is about to be in session again. There it is. Make your way into the courtroom, please. It all hinges on that demonstration. If the professor's hypothesis is sound as he claims, it leaves him as the only person who could possibly have killed the victim. But on the other hand, Mr. Sholmes was adamant. A practical implementation, such as was attempted by the professor at the Great Exhibition, is quite impossible. So really, what should I be trying to prove here? "23rd October, 11 AM, the Old Bailey courtroom. 11 AM on the dot. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby reconvene the proceedings of this court. Counsels for the defense and prosecution, are you ready for the new witnesses to testify?" The prosecution is ready, my lord. As is the defense, my lord. So, Lord Van Zeeks. I believe these next witnesses saw the demonstration on the day in question with their own eyes. Indeed, they did. And as luck would have it, one of them is a police detective. So the testimony we are about to hear can be considered highly reliable. Perfect, a detective of all people. The prosecution's stance remains unchanged. Though it ended in tragedy, the demonstration on the day in question was scientifically sound. And consequently, the sole person with the opportunity to have committed this act of murder is the only other individual to have been present on the stage at the time, the accused. Thank you, counsel. The prosecution's position is clear. So bring forth your witnesses now. Bailiff, show the witnesses in. The witnesses whose proximity to the incident on the day in question will clarify the truth unequivocally. Okay. Okay. And Gina! Witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court to hear. My name is Balthazar Loon. I am the impresario of all the hot air balloons in vicinity of the Esperimento stage. I've been avoiding doing a German accent with Hairbrain. I'm like, okay, he's British. They say they made it a point that he's from Britain and stuff, so I can get away with just doing an English accent. Just for this kid to show up. Oh my gosh.
My name is Wilhelm Gostreich Sigismund Ormstein. I have come to see the Great Exposition all the way from my home in Bohemia.
Cute.
I'm very rich. Inspector Gina Lestrade, Scotland Yard. I'm a great detective. Even Alex Sholmes agrees. I was on security duty at the exposition. I got to go up one of them balloons. It was amazing.
Gina, again. But she did mention that she's seen the disaster from up in a balloon, actually, didn't she? And she clearly loved every minute of it. There were 3 balloons flying near the public experimentation stage when the incident occurred. 2 of these witnesses were in one such balloon at the time, and saw events unfold from the skies above. Quite could sound like they were in the clouds. It was only an altitude of circa 60 feet, very low.
Well, you can't see nothing if you fly too high, can you?
60 feet, about 18 meters then. Thank you for your introductions. Now you will give your formal testimony for the court. Kindly describe exactly what you witnessed, especially those of you who are at a vantage point above the stage.
Witness testimony.
View from 60 feet up. We'll get through this and we'll get to the examination portion, then we'll end for today.
It was an incidente terrible.
Oh my god, he also has an accent.
It was an incidente terrible. I'm only grateful that my balloons were not damaged. Oh, it's this huge bang from the stage, and then the next second, another bang in the sky beside us. And from a misty smoke, a cage appeared out of nowhere. The cage it fell from the sky like a stone and crashed into the crystal tower.
I didn't get a good look inside the cage, but no one went near it after it crashed into the tower. Okay. A most extraordinary collective account, I must say. Could I just clarify something? There's a detail in the witness's testimony that I've not heard any mention of until now. Specifically, that there were 2 explosions? More precisely, 2 explosions in 2 separate places, yes. When the demonstration began, the balloon carrying the 2 witnesses was around. Here. There were other balloons in the air nearby at the time, carrying other passengers as well, to be clear. Then, as power was supplied to the machine for the demonstration, the first explosion occurred. The so-called birdcage that contained the victim disappeared from the stage, and a moment later, the second explosion occurred directly adjacent to the balloon carrying the witnesses. The birdcage appeared at the site of the explosion, subsequently to plummet down into the crystal tower.
I was very surprised. Suddenly a cage appeared before my eyes with a person inside. The blast was so hot, but I didn't want to miss a thing, so I kept my eyes wide. I still have lots of money.
Dude, this kid's great. He's funny as hell. Precisely, who is this curious infant? I'm told he is a young noble of Bohemian royalty. Apparently, he disguised himself in order to steal unnoticed into the Great Exhibition.
Yeah, I'm here in London on a sightseeing trip to visit my elementary school.
Dude, this kid's awesome. Gina Lestrade, 18. A mostly reformed pickpocket who's now a self-appointed detective inspector. She's recently making waves in her new apprenticeship. Tobias Gregson, 45. The detective inspector in charge of Scotland Yard's investigation of the case. He's stern and single-minded in his approach and a great lover of fish and chips. Esmeralda Tuspels, 26. The proprietress of the Madame Tuspels Museum of Waxwork and the latest in a line of artisans privy to the secret Tuspels technique of capturing a perfect likeness. Balthazar Loon, 42. The impresario of short pleasure voyages and flying balloons. The balloons above the experimentation stage all belong to this man. Bohemian Boy. That's just his name is Bohemian Boy. Oh yeah, that's right. He said his name. 11. A young boy who came to London to visit the Great Exhibition. His real name is Wilhelm Gostreich Sigismund Ormstein. Nice. We will have the benefit of a child's point of view in the testimony. Do we really need that?
When I remove my mask, this is what I look like.
Hello. Yes, I see. A delightful face, I'm sure.
Yeah, everybody says so.
Great disguise, then. The point is, the testimony of these witnesses further substantiates the facts for the court. Namely, that despite ending in an explosion, instantaneous kinesis was successfully demonstrated. And furthermore, that until the arrival of the police, no one approached the crystal tower where the victim fell. Therefore, only the accused who was with Mr. Asman on the stage could possibly have committed the murder. Yes, thank you, counsel. Prosecution's views on the matter are quite clear. So, the defense's cross-examination now, please. Yes, my lord. Okay. And with that, my friends, that is where we are going to end off for today. A bit of a shorter stream, but I don't want to get too far ahead and then we're in the middle of like this crazy plot twist, but I'm too tired to keep going. I like stopping at the to be continues, but bye! We're gonna raid Layumi, who raided us yesterday. Go spread them some love. And yeah, I'll be back again. What's tomorrow? Thursday? I'll probably be back again tomorrow. Because I can't stream Fridays and Saturdays, so that'll be my last stream of the week. But yeah, go spread some love to Layumi. Thank you all for showing up, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Sending you off in 3, 2, 1. Bye-bye.